The waiter had just set down my graduation cake when my mother leaned across the table, smile frozen in place, and said loud enough for half the restaurant to hear. Honestly, Kara, we wish you were never born. Your sister would have gotten so much more if you hadn't existed. The candles flickered. 22 of them. My father didn't even look up from his phone. My sister Brooke smirked into her wine glass. And me. I set down my fork, pulled out my phone, and did something that would make them regret every word. But before I tell you what I did and how one recording changed everything, drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. Because what happens next proves that sometimes the best revenge isn't anger. It's evidence. Hit that like button if you've ever been the family scapegoat, the one who could never do anything right no matter how hard you tried. Because by the end of this story, you'll see exactly what happens when the invisible child finally decides to become impossible to ignore. My name is Kara Mitchell. I'm 22 years old, fresh graduate from UC Berkeley with a degree in biomedical engineering. Full scholarship. Dean's List every semester. Research published in 2 medical journals. On paper, I was everything parents should be proud of. But in my family, I was the mistake that never quite got corrected. My sister Brooke is 25, blonde, bubbly, the kind of person who posts inspirational quotes at 6 a.m. and gets 500 likes. She dropped out of community college after 1 semester to become an influencer. 12,000 Instagram followers. 0 income. Lived in my parents' basement rent-free for 4 years. And somehow, she was the golden child. Growing up in Pasadena, California, I learned early that love in the Mitchell household came with conditions. Brooke got dance classes, cheerleading uniforms, a brand new Volkswagen for her 16th birthday wrapped in a bow. I got library cards and lectures about being too serious and not fun enough. When I won the science fair in 8th grade, Mom missed the ceremony because Brooke had a nail appointment. When I got my acceptance letter to Berkeley, Dad said, "Well, at least the scholarship means we don't have to pay." No congratulations, no celebration, just relief that I wouldn't cost them anything. I stopped expecting praise around age 14. I stopped expecting presents around 16. By 18, I'd stopped expecting anything at all. But graduation was supposed to be different. They'd promised. They'd actually RSVP'd yes to the ceremony. They'd suggested dinner afterward. For once, I let myself hope. Stupid mistake. The ceremony was at the Greek Theater, sun beating down on thousands of black caps. My name was called, Kara Alina Mitchell, summa cum laude biomedical engineering. I walked across that stage, shook the dean's hand, and scanned the crowd for 3 familiar faces. They weren't there, not in their seats. Not standing in the back, not anywhere. I told myself they were running late. Traffic on the Bay Bridge, parking nightmare, reasonable excuses for unreasonable people. After the ceremony, I checked my phone. 1 text from Mom, running behind, meet us at the Ivy at 7. No apology, no explanation, just an order disguised as an invitation. I should have left then. Should have celebrated with my roommate Hannah and her family who'd invited me to their dinner. Should have taken the out. But some part of me, the part that still remembered being 7 years old and desperate for Mom's approval, made me say yes. So I put on the dress I'd bought with my own money, the heels I'd saved for, and I showed up to the Ivy at 6:55 p.m. Early like I always was, hoping that maybe punctuality would earn me something. It never did. They arrived at 7:35, 40 minutes late. No apology. Mom air kissed my cheek, her perfume choking. Dad grunted a hello, already scrolling through emails. Brooke took a selfie with the restaurant's floral wall before even sitting down. "Sorry we missed the boring part," Mom said, sliding into the booth. "But we're here for the important part, the celebration." I forced a smile. The ceremony was the important part. She waved her hand dismissively. "Cap and gown photos all look the same, honey. Now let's order, I'm starving." The waiter came. They ordered expensive. Lobster filet mignon, a bottle of wine that cost more than my textbooks. I ordered a salad. "That's all?" Dad looked up for the first time. "We're paying, get something real." "I'm not very hungry," I lied. Truth was, I'd learned not to order much when they paid, because every bite came with a price. Reminder, a little comment about how much I cost them just by existing. Brooke launched into a story about her latest brand deal, some teeth whitening company offering her free products in exchange for posts. Mom oohed and awed like she'd just cured cancer. "That's amazing, sweetheart," Mom gushed. "See, Kara, Brooke's really making something of herself." I bit the inside of my cheek. "I just graduated summa cum laude." "Well, yes," Mom said, not even looking at me. "But that's expected." "You're the smart one. That's your thing. Brooke's the one with real talent." real talent. Posting filtered selfies was real talent. 4 years of sleepless nights, research papers, lab work until 3 a.m. Apparently that was just expected. The food came. They ate. I picked at my salad. Dad talked about work. Mom talked about Brooke. Brooke talked about herself. I might as well have been invisible. Then the waiter brought out the cake. Small, simple, chocolate with vanilla frosting. 22 candles. He set it in front of me with a smile. "Congratulations on your graduation," he said warmly. For a second I felt seen. Then my mother spoke. She didn't whisper it, didn't pull me aside, just said it right there across the table like she was commenting on the weather. "Honestly, Kara, we wish you were never born. Your sister would have gotten so much more if you hadn't existed." The restaurant noise didn't stop. Laughter from other tables, clinking silverware, soft jazz playing overhead. But in my bubble, everything went silent. I looked at my father. He finally looked up from his phone, but not at me, at Mom with mild annoyance. "Linda, not here. Not that's not true, not don't say that, just not here," like the problem wasn't the words, just the location. Brooke sipped her wine, eyes gleaming. She'd been waiting for this. "What?" Mom continued, defensive now. "I'm just being honest. We had plans. Travel, renovations, a bigger house." Then Kara came along and everything went to diapers and daycare and college funds we couldn't even use because she got a scholarship anyway. She said it like I should apologize for being born, for taking up space, for existing in their world uninvited. "We sacrificed so much," Mom went on. "And for what? So you could spend 4 years in a lab and come home with a degree that'll probably just gather dust while you work some boring job?" My hands were shaking. I clasped them in my lap, nails digging into my palms. "Brooke, though," Mom's voice softened. "Brooke brings us joy, she's fun. She lights up a room, you've always been so serious, so exhausting." Dad nodded, actually nodded. Brooke smiled. "It's not personal, Kara, you're just a lot." A lot. I was a lot because I worked hard, because I didn't need their money, because I succeeded in spite of them. The waiter returned. "Everything okay here?" "Perfect," Mom chirped, smile back in place. "Could we get the check?" And that's when I did it. I pulled out my phone, pressed record, and I said very clearly, "Mom, could you repeat what you just said about wishing I was never born? I want to make sure I heard you correctly." She froze. "Kara, don't be dramatic." "I'm not being dramatic," I said calmly. "I just want you to say it again, for the record." Her face went pale. "Put that away." "Why?" I asked. "You said it loud enough for half the restaurant to hear." "Surely you're not ashamed of your honesty." Dad's jaw tightened. "Kara, enough." "Enough?" I repeated. "I've been enough my entire life. Too much, actually, according to you." I stood up, slid 3 20s onto the table. "That's for my salad, you can cover the rest. After all, Brooke needs her lobster." Mom grabbed my wrist. "Sit down, you're making a scene." I looked down at her hand, then at her face. And very quietly I said, "You made the scene, Mom, I'm just leaving it." I pulled away, picked up my purse, and walked out of the ivy with my head high and my phone still recording. Behind me, I heard Brooke laugh. Heard Dad mutter something about ungrateful. Heard Mom's voice rise in defense, but I didn't look back. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, hands gripping the steering wheel, listening to the recording on repeat. And that's when I realized something. For years, they'd made me feel crazy. Told me I was too sensitive, too dramatic imagining things. But now I had proof, and I was going to make sure everyone saw it. I drove back to Berkeley. My roommate Hannah took one look at my face and pulled me into a hug. I didn't cry. I was too angry to cry. "Play it," she said. I handed her my phone. She listened. Her face went from shock to rage. "This is abuse," she said flatly. "Emotional abuse. You know that, right?" I'd never called it that before, but hearing her say it, hearing the words out loud, something clicked. "What are you going to do?" She asked. I didn't know yet, but I knew I wasn't going to stay silent. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the dinner. Not just tonight, but every dinner, every holiday, every moment where I'd been made to feel like a burden. The time they forgot my 16th birthday because Brooke had a cheer competition. The time I made honor roll and Dad said, "That's what you're supposed to do." The time I got into Berkeley and Mom's first response was, "How much is this going to cost us?" 22 years of being second place, of being the disappointment, of being wished away. At 3 a.m., I opened my laptop and started typing. Not a rant, not an emotional breakdown, a clear, factual account of what happened, what was said, what I'd endured. I attached the audio recording. I included screenshots of texts, years of them. Mom canceling plans with me to attend Brooke's events. Dad sending money to Brooke while telling me I needed to learn financial responsibility. Family group chats where I was left out of vacation plans, holiday celebrations, even casual dinners. I wrote about the science fair they missed, the The robotics competition where I took first place and came home to an empty house because they were at Brooke's boyfriend's birthday party. The college acceptance celebration that never happened. Then I posted it, not on some personal blog no one would see. I posted it on Reddit, on r/raisedbynarcissists. I posted it on a forum for estranged adult children. I sent it to my extended family's group email with the subject line, "Why I won't be at Thanksgiving this year." And then, I did something I never thought I'd have the courage to do. I posted the recording on TikTok. I didn't expect anything. Maybe a few supportive comments. Maybe some solidarity from strangers. What I got was a firestorm. The TikTok video hit 100,000 views in 6 hours. By the next morning, it was at 2 million. Comments flooded in. "This broke my heart. You deserved so much better. I'm a parent and I can't imagine saying this to my child. I'm so sorry. Your mom sounds like a narcissist. Please get therapy and cut them off. Brooke is the real disappointment here. Imagine peeking in your parents' basement." The audio clip got shared on Twitter, then Instagram, then Facebook. Someone even made it into a stitch with a therapist reacting, breaking down the emotional abuse in real time. My phone exploded. Texts from cousins I hadn't heard from in years, calls from aunts. Even my grandmother, who I thought didn't have texting, managed to send, "Is this real?" But the messages from my parents, radio silence. Until 48 hours later when my phone rang at 11 p.m. Mom's name lit up the screen. I almost didn't answer, but I needed to hear it. Whatever excuse, whatever backpedaling, whatever gaslighting she'd prepared, I answered, "Hello, take it down." Her voice was ice, no greeting, no apology. "No, Kara, you're embarrassing this family." "I'm embarrassing you?" I laughed. "Mom, you told me you wished I was never born, at my graduation dinner in public. I was frustrated. You know how you make me feel." There it was, the classic pivot, make it my fault. "How I make you feel?" I repeated slowly. "I got a full scholarship to Berkeley. I graduated summa cum laude. I've never asked you for money, never gotten in trouble, never caused a single problem, and somehow I make you feel bad? You're so ungrateful," she hissed. "After everything we've done for you." "What have you done for me, Mom? Name one thing." Silence. "You fed me," she finally said. "Clothed you, kept a roof over your head. That's more than a lot of kids get." "That's the bare minimum," I said. "That's what you're legally required to do. Congratulations on not committing child neglect." "How dare you? How dare I?" My voice rose. "How dare you? You have a daughter who succeeded despite you, not because of you, and instead of being proud, you resent me for it." "Take down the video," she demanded, "or you're no longer part of this family." I smiled. It felt strange on my face. "Mom, I stopped being part of this family the day you wished I was never born. I'm just making it official." I hung up. The messages from extended family kept coming. Most were supportive. Some were shocked. A few tried to play peacemaker. But then I got a message that changed everything. From my Aunt Carol, Dad's sister. We'd never been close. She lived in Oregon, rarely came to family events, but her message was long, detailed, and devastating. "Kara, I'm so sorry. I should have said something years ago. Your mother has always been jealous of you. When you were born, you were a beautiful, healthy baby. Brooke had colic, health issues, constant problems. Linda bonded with Brooke through that struggle. But you were easy, you didn't need her, and she resented you for it. Over the years, she made you the scapegoat. Every family has one. The kid who can't do right no matter what. It was never about you. It was about her. She needed someone to blame for her unhappiness, and you were it. I'm sorry I never intervened. I thought maybe I was imagining it. But after hearing that recording, I can't stay silent anymore. You deserved better, you always did." I read it 3 times, then I saved it, printed it, added it to the folder I was building, because I wasn't just posting on social media anymore. I was documenting everything. A week later, my parents sent a lawyer's letter, cease and desist, defamation, emotional distress. They wanted the video taken down and a public apology. I forwarded it to a lawyer friend from Berkeley. She laughed. "Truth is an absolute defense to defamation," she said. "You have the recording, you have witnesses, they have nothing." I sent a reply through her. Simple, clean, no. Thanksgiving came, I didn't go home. I spent it with Hannah's family in San Diego. Her mom hugged me and said, "We're so proud of you, Kara." I cried then, not sad tears, relief tears, because someone was proud of me. And it wasn't the people I'd spent 22 years trying to impress. 6 months later, I'm living in Boston, got a job at a biomedical research firm. Good pay, amazing team, work I actually care about. I don't talk to my parents. Brooke blocked me on everything, which honestly felt like a gift. Dad sent one email months ago, "When you're ready to apologize, we'll be here." I never replied. There's nothing to apologize for. The TikTok video is still up. Last I checked, it had 12 million views. People still comment, share their own stories. Thank me for speaking up. I started a blog about growing up as the scapegoat child, about surviving narcissistic parents, about building a life after you leave, and the messages I get, hundreds of them from people who say, I thought I was crazy. Thank you for showing me I'm not. That's worth more than any apology my mother could fabricate. Here's what I learned. Some people will never see your worth, and that's not a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of their capacity to appreciate it. My parents spent 22 years wishing I was different. Quieter, easier, more like Brooke. But I was never going to be Brooke. I was always going to be the girl who asked hard questions, who worked too hard, who wanted more than surface-level connection. And that's not a flaw. That's a gift. The family you're born into doesn't define you. The family you choose does, and I've chosen well. Friends who celebrate me, colleagues who respect me. A therapist who helps me unpack the damage and rebuild stronger. I don't hate my parents, I don't wish them harm, I just don't wish them anything anymore. They're strangers now. Strangers who share my DNA but not my life, and I'm okay with that. Because the girl who sat at that graduation dinner, candles flickering, listening to her mother wish her out of existence, she's gone. The woman who walked out of that restaurant, recording in hand, head held high, she's still here. And she's never going back. If you've ever been told you were too much, too difficult, too serious, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. You're not alone. There are millions of us rebuilding after families that couldn't see what they had. Hit subscribe because next time, I'm sharing what happened when my mother showed up at my apartment unannounced 6 months later, and what I said that made her leave and never come back. Like this video, if you believe that sometimes walking away isn't giving up. It's choosing yourself. And remember, you were never the problem, you were just in the wrong room.